When the stars align, the forces of creation converge. Bright giants, supergiants, hypergiants. When the stars align, everything is possible. Long ago, in a galaxy right here, a railroad ended in the Georgia woods and nothing has ever been the same. From Terminus to Marthasville to ATL, this town don't mess around. We lead in data science, logistics, finance, biotech, green energy, communication, and stone cold innovation. Techstars Atlanta is a shining beacon in this constellation of innovation, where brilliance and audacity are nurtured and cultivated by the best and the brightest that this town can summon. So you want to talk about disruption? Yo, count us in. Making investing in rental property easy and accessible for everyone. A platform built to empower the automotive DIY communities and their members, giving every business instant access to an army of vetted marketing pros. An a la carte product architecture that updates, protects, and future-proofs businesses of every size in the blink of an eye. Accessing every major meal delivery service within a single app. The new way to buy flowers for life's biggest milestones and everyday moments. An app that teaches kids how money really works. Scaling the myriad chores of household management to fit in the palm of your hand. Human-powered AI simplified to a button press. A rewards program that literally saves lives by incentivizing and gamifying safe driving behavior. This is the glowing hot core of meaningful enterprise technology for the birth of enduring consumer brands, fusing together insight, originality, and collaboration to elevate the human experience from the B to the B to the B to the C. Techstars Atlanta is accelerating Atlanta's innovation culture towards a critical mass by bringing diversity in people and industry, pulling together like gravity, and fusing our economy with celestial luminosity. Friends, neighbors, visionaries, the stars are aligned.
I'm Dave Payne, the Managing Director of Techstars Atlanta, and I'd like to welcome you to our 2020 Demo Day. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to celebrate these startups with us. As you can see, this year's Demo Day is a little bit different. Normally, we'd be on a big stage in a gorgeous old theater in downtown Atlanta with 1,000 of our closest friends. While this year is different, I think you'll find the most important elements are here. Courageous founders working incredibly hard to solve burning problems. For those new to Techstars, we are the global platform for investment and innovation. We've run more than 200 accelerator classes over 13 years, helping more than 5,000 founders succeed. This makes us the #1 investor for this stage of startup in the world. The Techstars Atlanta program doesn't have a theme or vertical focus, so we can recruit startups for this class from anywhere doing anything. This year, we met with more founders than ever before to get down to a final class of 10 startups. From January to April, I met with over 1,200 founders, so what you'll be seeing today is the best of the best. Founders in this class are working on problems as diverse as making it dead simple to deploy machine learning models, to disrupting the wedding flower industry, to allowing consumers to buy shares in rental homes like they do with stocks today. Regardless of their focus, all of these teams are just fantastic, as you'll soon see. Joining me at a safe distance is our program manager, Hannah Turner. Hannah, I'm happy to have you here today.
Thanks, Dave. I completely agree. Although I miss seeing our friends and family in person on this special day, I'm excited to be here with you all. We have an awesome lineup of companies here to share their story, and we can't wait for you to hear from them. Also, as an added part to the show, we'll be busy in the chat section of this live event page, including our founders, available to answer your questions, or just give us a shout out. Now, back to you, Dave.
Before we hear from the founders, I'd like to introduce the Techstars partner that makes this all possible, Cox Enterprises. Cox brought this program to Atlanta 5 years ago as part of their mission to help accelerate the startup ecosystem in Atlanta. This program, along with Engage, Startup Runway, and Endeavor, are having an incredible impact on our local startup ecosystem. Here today to say a few words about this partnership is Dallas Clement, EVP and Chief Financial Officer for Cox Enterprises.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today for Atlanta Techstars 2020 Demo Day. I appreciate you joining us virtually, trying to keep everyone safe, and I hope you all are well. I'm really excited about today. You're going to hear from 10 companies driving innovation in technology, business, and life. Innovation has been part of Cox's heritage and our culture for many, many years, ever since Governor Cox founded the company in 1898. We wanted to try to find a way to bring that entrepreneurial spirit both to Cox, our company, and to the Atlanta community, our hometown. We were very excited to partner with Techstars to bring a world-class accelerator to Atlanta. Since then, we brought Atlanta Techstars. We've also brought a new social impact accelerator to Atlanta. Some 60 companies have gone through the program. Excited about all those, and we've seen great success. Through the first 3 cohorts, those companies have raised over $110 million in seed capital. 70% of them have done it within the first 18 months of graduating from Techstars. We're excited to say that 50% of those companies now call Atlanta home, so we're giving back and impacting the Atlanta community. 70% call the Southeast home. And just because Atlanta's the home doesn't mean that's the only place they're driving innovation. Companies like PadSplit are providing affordable housing, over 1,000 units in Atlanta. Companies like Bark actually have partnered to help prevent 16 different school shootings around the country. And companies like Farm Crowdy are helping farmers in Nigeria bringing their produce to market. So we're excited by the impact that all these companies have and what they've done for the communities that they serve, but also for the Atlanta community. So thank you for joining us here today and for sitting back and listening. Thank you to all of our partners who have provided mentorship and advice and partnering with these companies. Thank you to David Payne for leading this on behalf of Techstars and Cox. And thank you to the companies for picking this accelerator to join with us. So sit back, relax, and thank you so much for participating. Hope you learned something. Take care.
Thank you, Dallas. Now to get us started today is our first team, arrived from Seattle. Out of all the founders in the class, I've known Ryan the longest. Before joining the program, we were talking for well over a year about the problem he's trying to solve. Take it away, Ryan.
Imagine for a second that you really wanted to buy a share of Apple stock. Take out your phone, open up the Robinhood app, type in Apple, and start to confirm your trade. One share, about $100, and in a few seconds, you're done. Success. But what if each share was $50,000, and instead of a few seconds, took 3 to 6 months to complete your trade? That's what investing in rental properties is like today. Americans love real estate. The problem is the people who want to invest in real estate aren't able to do it. We surveyed 1,000 people from various backgrounds, and first, we asked their views on investing. 48% of people view the stock market as a good investment, and 60% of people view real estate as a good investment. But when we asked if they owned any of these investments, 55% invest in stocks, and only 7% invest in real estate. This is crazy because real estate has been the best long-term investment in history. And the only reason this gap exists is because it's easier and cheaper to invest in stocks than it is to invest in real estate. Our vision is to forever change that. My name is Ryan Frazier, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Arrived. Arrived is a platform for investing in shares of rental homes, starting with just $100. Our users buy shares of each home. They earn passive income from rent and appreciation as property values grow. And Arrived does all of the work, finding and managing each of the properties. By simplifying the home investment process, we can help millions of people start investing in homes. Let me show you what I mean. First, here's the old way to invest in a rental property. You start researching properties, find a lender, tour potential homes, determine if it's even a good investment. Make an offer and hope it's accepted, write a $50,000 check for the down payment, close on the home, get homeowner's insurance, make any needed improvements, list the home for rent, show the home to renters, sign a lease, manage accounting, and file taxes every year. This sucks. With Arrived, users log in, they browse homes that are available for investment, reserve shares in the homes they like, invest online by connecting their bank account, and they start earning money on their investment from day one. Arrived is by far the easiest way to invest in rental homes. So how does it work? We analyze every home in our target market. We buy the best homes with a cash offer from a line of credit, improve the home, rent it out on a long-term lease, and then we sell the home in the form of shares on our platform. Every time a home goes through this process, Arrive makes money. We've spent the last year building the legal and regulatory foundation to allow consumers to buy shares of homes. This was no easy task. And this week, we launched our first 2 homes on the platform. In 1 week, users fully reserved both homes, almost $500,000 in home value. And we have a large line of credit to start launching new homes to our users. With 28 homes, we'll be at $7 million in GMV and $1 million in revenue. In the same way that Robinhood has made it easier for 13 million people to trade the stock market, half of which had never invested before signing up, Arrived is unlocking the pent-up demand for investing in rental homes, giving people access to passive income that they've never had before in a $70 billion market for rental property transactions each year. We've put together a dream team of experienced entrepreneurs with backgrounds in technology, real estate, finance, and operations. We are the team to solve this problem. To recap, we've removed the 2 main points of friction for consumers in a $70 billion market. In 1 week, users fully reserved our first 2 homes, and we have a large line of credit to start launching new homes to a 2,000 member waitlist. If you want to learn more about how we're creating millions of new real estate investors, then please email us or tweet us at Arrived Homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, we have Please Assist Me, a home management tool. It's been tough working at home with 2 kids during the pandemic. I definitely could have used Please Assist Me. Now, I'll let Stephanie tell you all about it.
Your home should be your happy place. And as you think about home, what comes to mind? Your family, your dog or pet, your warm, comfy bed. But is that how you really think about home? What about the never-ending list of things that you need to clean? The online returns that you didn't mean to keep, but didn't return before the deadline? Or those Goodwill bags that you've been meaning to take for the last couple of weeks? Feel a little bit more stress? Well, you are not alone. In fact, 85% of working Americans are completely overwhelmed by household chores. And unfortunately, less than 1 out of 10 are getting the help that they need. With hundreds of household apps out there, why are people still stressed? Because you don't need another task app. You need a home manager. Managing your home is difficult. And if you tried to outsource your home today, you would have to have an app for laundry, and an app for groceries, and an app for house cleaning. And it would just be easier for you to do it yourself. And more importantly, you don't know who you're letting into your most personal space, your home. I'm Stephanie Cummings, the CEO of Please Assist Me, and we've created a better way to manage your home and truly come home to everything already done. Please Assist Me is a comprehensive mobile app that allows you to outsource all of your household chores through one platform to your own personal assistant team. This team is dedicated to you, is insured for $1 million each and every time that they enter your door, and wears body cameras while they are in your home. Just select the service that you need, set any preferences, and truly come home to everything already done. So how do we make money? Well, we partner with apartments because they're looking for amenities to encourage you to choose their community over the 10 other buildings on that street. Apartments pay a software fee to power their complex with Please Assist Me, and then residents have access to the platform to request and pay for their in-home services. Since starting Techstars, the numbers of units under contract has grown over 400%. We successfully piloted our solution with the top-rated property management company in the United States and just secured a pilot with the largest owner-operator in the Mid-Atlantic market, which at full scale will bring in $1.2 million in revenue. And we did all of this during a global pandemic. Each building is worth $40,000 per year. And with just 25 buildings, we generate $1 million in annual revenue. There are over 800 buildings in our home market of Washington, D.C. alone, and 50 other cities just like it across the country. And that's just apartments. We haven't talked yet about condos, short-term rentals, HOA communities, independent living, and the other places where people live. From my background in technology and startups, having built all our technology to date, to my co-founder's background in hospitality and property management, to our PAMs, as we call them for short, who with purpose and care are driven each and every day to ensure that no one ever feels defeated when they walk through their door again. To recap, we have a 90% retention rate with our weekly clients. Big clients and customers are signing up, and with only 24 buildings, we'll reach $1 million in annual revenue. Join us on the journey of making home what it should be, your happy place. Not just for you, but for everyone. Contact us or follow us on Paper Street to learn more. Thank you.
Next up, Boss Framework. We were watching this team in Nashville for over a year before offering them a place in the class. Shashank, please tell us all about it.
This is my daughter. We love building things together with Legos, sometimes for hours. One evening, we built a castle that was so big that we actually ran out of Legos. We ran to the store, saw a picture of a castle on a box, and bought it. But the blocks didn't snap together. Turns out it was a different brand, and my daughter was not happy about it. Both sets of blocks were designed to build a castle, but they were not designed to build a castle together. And this is exactly what happens with software applications. This is a small sample of the building blocks that are available to software engineers. And they're fantastic, but they were not designed as a system. They just don't snap together. And there are new tools and versions every day. So every time you build a new product, there are dozens of decision points around tools, infrastructure, configurations. There is no one way to do it, and no two developers build things the same way. So let's just say your company has 6 applications. What does that do to your systems architecture, to your business architecture? You have 6 implementations of AWS, you have 6 implementations of Stripe, you have 6 implementations of Auth, you have 6 implementations of email, you have 6 times the attackable surface area for cyber attacks, and you have 6 teams managing it all with their own standards, their own processes. An average mid-sized company doesn't have 6 applications, it has 85. The biggest problem that businesses have is fractured architectures. I'm Shashank. I was trained as a mechanical engineer with a master's in computer science. And for the past 21 years, I've been building software products. I've led global software teams in multi-billion-dollar companies. Boss is my 3rd startup. We built it as an automated platform to give businesses the architectural foundations that they need. So how does it work? Boss sets up your new, more secure cloud infrastructure in a matter of minutes, allowing you to consolidate all your products onto a common architecture. We then security scan your code and redeploy your custom code onto this new infrastructure and integrate it with our scalable microservices, Auth, email, and so forth, allowing your teams to focus 100% on your custom code. We secure your data and create defenses that are consistent with HIPAA, PCI, etc. And we wrap it all up in a console that allows your developers to manage and track the health of your system. Now you can redeploy your teams to new products. The result: our customers have not had a security breach since moving to Boss. Their dev teams spend 90% less on operational tasks. And best of all, they spend about 50% fewer dollars on maintaining their software than before Boss. Our customers pay a monthly subscription based on usage, and we are at a run rate of well over $800,000. We have seen a 300% growth year over year since 2018. Global digital transformation is a $285 billion industry. We're currently focused on companies between $5 and $100 million in revenue. We have a solid team that is committed to this mission. My COO, Anderson Williams, joined me after a successful startup exit. My CTO, Hussein Abbas, has over a decade in senior leadership in a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Many of my engineers have been with me for over 10 years. Together, we want to reshape how technology transforms business. If our mission resonates with you, I would love to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sashank. Before we move on to the other company pitches, David Cohen, co-founder of Techstars, will host a panel on what's happening in the Atlanta startup ecosystem. Take it away, David.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm David Cohen, one of the co-founders and a managing partner at Techstars. The purpose of this panel is to spend a few minutes discussing the state of the ecosystem for startups in Atlanta. We want to let you know that we've had an amazing partnership with Cox Enterprises here at Techstars over the last 5 years. Recently added a second program focused on social impact in Atlanta, and Cox Enterprises has just been an amazing partner in all of that. That is very unusual for us around the world. In fact, we operate a lot of programs everywhere, and Atlanta is very unique in that Cox is really leaning into all of the activity and supporting a lot of great organizations there to make the community better. We really wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about what's going on in the ecosystem. And so I'm going to introduce some amazing panelists who are going to tell us a little bit about themselves and then touch on individual topics briefly. So Lisa, I'd love to start with you. It's been an interesting and tough year for startups, but what does it mean for you? How do you see it affecting Atlanta's future as a startup hub?
Thanks, David. You're so right. It's a fascinating time in the ecosystem, and it's great to have the support of local entrepreneurial corporate leaders like Cox. So as a seed stage investor here in town, general partner at Valor Ventures, we're really excited about what's happening in the ecosystem right now. COVID-19 really has a silver lining when it comes to this region. So we're already the largest region in the United States, growing at double digits, the fastest growing region, with the greatest density of corporate acquirers. The Southeast has more Fortune 500 headquarters than California and New York combined. So what COVID-19 is doing is helping founders and also funders learn how to work remotely at scale. And I think that that's going to really create an ignition for this region in particular, as some of our incumbent entrepreneurial talent is motivated by groups like Techstars and invested in by groups like Valor and others around it, but now just accelerated even faster because instead of being 2,000 miles from the venture hub in Silicon Valley, now the Silicon Valley venture hubs and all the venture hubs are able to work remotely better, and we're training, we're building that muscle.
Thanks, Lisa. Barry, I want to go to you. Atlanta is really unique in the sense that there are many large companies that startups can work with. And of course, Techstars has a bunch of experience around the world plugging those large companies into early stage startups. What advice would you give the startups and the large corporations for working together?
Yeah, I think this is a great segue off of Lisa's comments. And as a recovering founder with my company, Monsieur, and now an investor and the managing director of the Techstars Social Impact Program that David mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things that I love about Atlanta is that we have this kind of hub of Fortune 500 companies here. But I do think we have some hurdles to get over in order for us to truly utilize it. And one of those things I think is the Fortune 500s really buying into the tech ecosystem. Many of them have been around long before, venture capital and Silicon Valley kind of kicked off, but they really need to learn how to execute and work with founders because this is one of the most important things about getting a company off the ground is those first couple of early customers. And no matter what industry that you're selling into, we have a customer here in Atlanta, from logistics to food and beverage to technology to fintech. I mean, no matter what you're selling, we have customers here that have really big pocketbooks that can purchase that product. We just really need to become a more cohesive unit and have the founders have those relationships with the corporates, and the corporates really learn how to work closer with founders and to move a lot faster. And so I'm really excited to see what we're going to be able to do now that we've really solidified ourselves as a hub.
Thanks, Barry. It's exciting to hear about. Daly, you've lived in some amazing places and amazing startup communities like New York, San Francisco, London, spent real time there. Why Atlanta? What separates it from the pack?
Yeah, so having lived in these ecosystems for over a decade, operating startups, and then moving down to Atlanta, it's a really unique ecosystem that generally has kind of this unique kind of chip on its shoulder in a really positive way. Is that we're not the West Coast, we're not the East Coast. Generally, we want startups to kind of win and succeed. And the one thing that was kind of missing was this connective tissue between large companies, the university system, and the startup ecosystem. And that's really where we kind of engage our fund. We have 11 Fortune 500 LPs that have all bounded together at the very senior level. No other ecosystem could you kind of see that, where you have 11 Fortune 500 CEOs on your board, and they get executives involved from the top, and they want startups to come pitch them. And one of the unifying factors here is that we generally want to see Atlanta succeed, and if you can succeed here, the entire region kind of gets behind you. It's the first time that I really felt that I was on offense more than I was on defense.
It is a really amazing ecosystem, and visiting there and watching it grow over the years has been pretty incredible. And thanks to all of your organizations for what you're doing in the community. And especially thanks to Cox Enterprises. I mean, I think it is truly unique to see that kind of support from an amazing corporate citizen. I know that Cox is also involved with Endeavor, out here in Colorado too. And it's really inspiring to watch the community working together and seeing how it's really lifting everybody up. So really exciting times, and we're just glad to be a part of it. With that, I want to thank you all and send it back over to Dave and Hannah.
Thank you, David, Lisa, Barry, and Daly. That was great. Next, let's hear from Growth Collective. If you're looking to hire a freelance marketer, Max has you covered. Tell us all about it, Max.
I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the investors out there who spent the last 2 decades funding social apps and SaaS tools. You've created a living hell for me and my fellow marketers. There are now dozens of digital marketing channels that I need a strategy for, and hundreds of tools that I have to use to stay competitive on those channels. There are so many that they don't even fit on this slide, and they all require specialized knowledge. The landscape has become so fragmented that companies and agencies can no longer house all of this expertise under one roof. Take TikTok, for example. It's new, it's powerful, and it takes a unique strategy to have success here. Fortunately, there are freelancers that specialize in TikTok and on all of these channels and tools. These are people who could change the trajectory of a company, but you won't find them on today's freelance marketplaces. That's because the marketplaces that exist today were built for the gig economy, not for knowledge work. They focus on cost, not skill and fit. I'm Max, the founder and CEO of Growth Collective. I spent years at Google helping companies grow with digital ads, and later I built companies using teams of freelancers, which is why I created a new type of marketplace that gives any company access to highly skilled freelance marketers. Growth Collective cuts through the noise, surfacing the true experts that have a track record of success at top companies, and we make it seamless to start working with them immediately. Unlike other marketplaces, we don't drown you in a sea of profiles. Instead, based on a number of factors, we recommend one perfect fit for every need. Companies have confidence in our marketers and our matching process, so they're willing to pay competitive rates. And that attracts talent that just doesn't exist on other marketplaces. Today, 35% of hiring managers are looking for freelance marketers, and young generations just prefer to work this way. Over half of Gen Z and 40% of millennials are already freelancing, which is why Growth Collective is set to take a bite out of the $105 billion marketing services industry. That starts with startups and small businesses. During the Techstars program, we developed a fast, repeatable sales process that converts leads to customers in less than a week. And it's working. Last month, transaction volume grew by over 100%. We're also partnering with in-house marketing teams, agencies, and VC firms. In our first 9 months, we processed over $300,000 for 65 clients. And by the end of the year, we'll crack $1 million run rate. We earn 20% of all of these transactions. We have an incredible team building this company. Felix and I worked together at Google and have known each other for over 7 years. We're onto something big here. Over 35% of hiring managers are looking for freelance marketers. And we have a unique marketplace model that attracts the top talent and connects them with companies in less than 2 days, which is why we're on track for $1 million run rate by the end of this year. If you're interested in hearing more about how we're shaping the future of marketing, let's connect. Thanks.
If you were like most people, you've done more food delivery during the pandemic. Even before that, food delivery was growing quickly, but recently it's become mainstream. But no startup has made this process streamlined across all providers until now. Matt, please tell us about MealMe.
A decade ago, the airline and hotel industries were dominated by huge companies that could charge consumers whatever they pleased. Naturally, Kayak and Hotels.com came along, made prices transparent for everyone, and streamlined the shopping experience. If you think about the food delivery industry, there's huge companies like Uber Eats and Postmates and Grubhub that could charge consumers whatever they please. But there's been no company that's been able to bring all of food delivery together until now. Food delivery users are promiscuous. No, not like that. 80% of food delivery users aren't loyal to one app. This means that they're switching from Uber Eats to Postmates to Grubhub every time they order. Food delivery companies charge way more fees than you would think. If you order $35 in food, they inflate menu prices, and there's service fees, delivery fees, and sales taxes, which are all calculated differently from app to app. The average $35 order winds up costing over $55. My name's Matt Bachner, co-founder of MealMe. Why use all these different food delivery apps when you could use MealMe, an iOS app that brings all major food delivery apps into one? We have twice as many restaurants as any other food delivery app, and we save users an average of $5.50 and 20 minutes in delivery time on every order. Since users can check out in MealMe, they don't need any other food delivery accounts. Let's find a restaurant, shall we? So it's breakfast time and I'm hungry, and I found this great deal at Jacob's Pickles. Now we're gonna find that Uber Eats is the cheapest. And since I'm really hungry and I've been recording all day, I'm gonna get two things. I'll get biscuit French toast, and then I'll also get a sausage biscuit. Now I can see that MealMe has actually saved me over $5. That's 60% savings. Now I can order on Uber Eats without ever having to leave MealMe, and I'll get real-time tracking from MealMe. MealMe makes an average of $2.35 on every order. Since we now own the customer shopping experience, we can soon introduce new, more affordable, and more profitable dining options to our hungry users, such as delivery-only restaurants and verified chef meals. MealMe was featured by Apple in the Apps We Love Right Now category, and we've been in the top 100 in food and drink for the past month. We've been growing by word of mouth and from over 1 million views on TikTok. Since we launched MealMe back in March, we've gone from a couple hundred beta users to over 40,000 users with zero marketing spend. We launched MealMe's checkout feature just a week ago in a small city, and we've already done over $2,000 in sales. Food delivery companies in the US will book $26 billion in revenue this year, with 112 million food delivery users ordering an average of 3 times a month. I'm the biggest foodie you'll ever meet. When I was 10, I had a cooking show on local TV where I would cook up Cajun classics. I worked in a restaurant, sold wine, sold software at SurveyMonkey, and graduated from Emory's Business School. My co-founder, Will Saeed, led a team of 60 engineers at a startup, worked at Apple and Google, and had 6 apps that hit the top 100 on the Apple and Google Play stores, and he's only 21. Promiscuous food delivery users can now stop fooling around with all these different food delivery apps and fall in love with MealMe to find the best deal every time they order.
As MealMe mentioned, the internet is great at providing price transparency, but internet transparency has not affected every part of our lives. One of those areas is auto parts. This Atlanta team is working hard to solve this problem for DIY auto enthusiasts. Tell us how it works, Yuval.
Americans spent $27 billion on toys last year, and $33 billion on computers. Americans also spent a whopping $43 billion on sneakers. But what you may not know is that in the US, individual consumers spend $60 billion on auto parts alone. The $60 billion isn't being spent by mechanics. Shops aren't spending all this money either. Not dealers. Individual consumers are spending $60 billion a year on auto parts. 1 out of 5 Americans do automotive DIY. But DIY in the auto repair space has a unique challenge. It's tough to figure out what part you need and difficult to find. And when you finally ID the right part, prices are all over the place. Now, people assume that the internet forces price transparency. This is not true, and here's an example. The same alternator, 2 different online stores, 2 different price points, with 2 different warranties, and 2 different delivery times. This complexity only grows when you compare more than 2 stores. The search for parts is tedious, time-consuming, and quite frankly, soul-sucking. It takes all of the fun out of these passion projects. In fact, there are many DIYers that say it takes them longer to find the right part and for the right price than it takes them to get the job done on the vehicle itself. But we're here to change that. AutoDoIt is the only one-stop shop e-commerce platform to solve these problems. AutoDoIt's Part Spotter was built to solve the biggest DIYer pain point, shopping for the right part at the right price when they need it. We earn up to 12% from every transaction we source through our Part Spotter by referring users to online stores to complete their purchases. By doing so, we also avoid owning inventory and payment liabilities. Another distinct advantage that we have over other players is that we know where to find DIYers because we're already embedded in these communities. We feel their pain and speak their language. In fact, we designed our platform with communities in mind and built automotive-specific capabilities into it. DIYers are finally able to make informed decisions based on feedback from other community members, instead of being guided by a biased salesperson. And we have a great story to tell them because our platform works. Our early adopters report that we can save, on average, 45 minutes on a typical search, and upwards of 50% on their parts purchases. Our platform has been engineered by a team of hardcore DIYers, auto enthusiasts, and technologists. Ivan, my co-founder, has been a hardcore automotive DIYer for over 15 years, where he has been deeply embedded within DIY communities. Ivan has also been working for over a decade in technology, including leading AI product initiatives. And I am Yuval, co-founder and CEO. I am a DIYer and have also led product organizations, building big data, analytical, and automotive-specific solutions. AutoDoIt provides the only seamless price transparency solution built specifically to address the $60 billion automotive DIY market. And we are the only ones that are focused on that. We are out in the market. We have the experience. Come talk to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Yuval. Now we'll move on to Treasure, a financial literacy app for kids. I love the flexibility Treasure gives me as a parent to help my son learn about finances in a fun way. But I'll let Matt tell you all about that. The floor is yours, Matt.
Wax on, wax off. Daniel LaRusso spent his summer cleaning cars, painting fences, and sanding floors. Little did he know these training techniques were secretly teaching his muscles karate moves. When the lessons actually began, he learned easily. The Miyagi way of teaching karate is the Treasure way of teaching personal finance. Most young adults live paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford a $400 emergency and will reach retirement age broke. On top of that, 80% of teachers don't feel confident teaching personal finance. Most young adults get zero financial education before entering the workforce. Parents want better for their children and are hungry for smart ways to teach them about money. My name is Matt, and I was terrible with money growing up. I didn't have Mr. Miyagi or Treasure. I had maxed out credit cards, no savings or investments. I was even addicted to payday loans. A few years ago, I became a personal finance nerd, and it changed my life. These are my girls, Millie and Elle. I don't want them making the same money mistakes I did, and that's why I started Treasure, a digital bank for kids powering financial literacy. You can think of us as the Mr. Miyagi of money. Let me show you how it works. Treasure is built for different parenting styles. There are separate parent and child apps optimized for each user. The experience is built around a regular payday that mimics the real world. This includes tasks and allowance. Parents can give their kids a no-strings-attached allowance, tie the earnings to chores, or choose to do a hybrid of both. When payday arrives, kids are encouraged to save a percentage of their money. You may know this as pay yourself first. When they want to buy something expensive, they can direct their earnings to a savings goal. This teaches delayed gratification. The market is massive and it's in its infancy. This is a global problem. However, we're initially focused in Canada and the US. There are 55 million kids between the age of 6 to 18. Our goal is to sign up 1 million in the next 3 years. How do we make money? We generate revenue 3 ways. We charge a monthly fee to the parent for the service. We get a percentage of all transaction volume, and our partners pay us for referrals to their products. With 1 million customers at $150 revenue per customer per year, we'll generate $150 million a year in revenue. We've been running a successful beta for a few months now in the lead up to our card launch. We've been learning and iterating with a small group of users. How will we reach 1 million more? With a strong customer lifetime value, we have plenty of options. There are some known and proven channels in our space that we've been testing, plus a big list of ideas we're excited to execute. We have strong pre-card launch validation. Most websites see 4% of visitors download their app. 20% of Treasure visitors installed our beta. That's 5 times better than the industry average. We have real engagement with parents and their kids. The number one question we receive, when can I get the card? I'm very excited to announce that we'll be launching our card in Canada, our first market, on November 26. From there, we'll focus on driving growth and revenue and launching in the US early next year. We have a passionate, focused team with experience building and scaling startups. We're parents, and we're driven to put our kids on their path to financial independence. Just like Mr. Miyagi, we believe the best way to learn is by doing. In the future, Treasure kids will grow up understanding how money really works and will get rich slowly. Thank you.
Every year, we try to have a startup from a previous class join us to hear about their progress. RentCheck was in last year's class, and as you'll soon see, they have made incredible progress over the last year. Here to catch us up is one of the founders of RentCheck, Lydia Winkler.
Hi, we're RentCheck. That's the apartment. 4 years ago, after my first year of law school, it came time to move and my landlord tried to keep my deposit. But they didn't know who they were messing with. It was $1,600. That was a lot of money to me. I decided it would be an injustice not to pursue it. So I represented myself and sued my former landlord. I took them to court and I won. And the reason I won was because I took photos when I moved out. The whole process took over a year and a half. This was time consuming and stressful, but that feeling of injustice stuck with me. And a year later, I met a classmate in my MBA program who had been a property manager for 10 years. He faced a similar problem, documenting apartments to avoid disputes and litigation. Documenting properties is time consuming and expensive because an employee has to be there and inaccurate because they are done on pen and paper. I'm Lydia Winkler. I'm the co-founder of RentCheck, and I've been a renter for the past 10 years. And my classmate I mentioned, that's Marco Nelson. He's my co-founder. And together, we're solving disputes between landlords and renters, which is a massive problem. There are 18 million renters that move each year. 30% of those renters will have a dispute over their deposit, which creates a $6 billion tug of war between landlords and renters over deposit deductions. Our mission is to eliminate those disputes and make renting fair and transparent. RentCheck enables tenants to perform inspections remotely by capturing an accurate picture of a property without the presence of a property manager. With RentCheck, property managers save time and money while reducing the risk of litigation and providing peace of mind for all parties involved. Our web and mobile apps allow property managers to request tenants do their move-in inspection, and then we take care of the rest. We send out an invitation and reminders to residents, and the inspection is waiting for them to perform on their own time. We guide them through step by step, room by room, as if a property manager was there with them, telling them exactly what to take photos of and asking specific questions, ensuring nothing is missed, all while enabling social distancing. Once the resident completes the inspection, they digitally sign off, and we notify the property manager that they need to review and agree to the documentation. This process is done again at move out, and RentCheck makes it easy to compare and see what has changed throughout the duration of a lease. So how big is this opportunity? Well, there are 46 million rental units in the US, with the residential property management market being $100 billion. The market is split into two, with half being small and independent property managers, and the other half being larger and institutional property management companies. The great thing is that RentCheck has a solution for both sides of the market. We have seen this with our organic growth over the last year. We've gone from 0 to over 100,000 properties across property managers and landlords on our platform. Earlier this year, we started monetizing by activating properties to paid tiers and have seen paid properties continue to rise as property managers rely and fall in love with our product. But we are just getting started. Inspections are our Trojan horse into the $100 billion property management market. Our relationship with the residents and underlying data allow us to build out a deeper product offering. We are focused on inspections today. Early next year, we will streamline maintenance documentation, and then later next year, we will move into becoming the trusted third party to hold and distribute security deposits. When we become the trusted third party for streamlining security deposits, we'll continue to earn a service fee, but also earn a float on security deposits. When we reach 4 million rental units on the RentCheck platform, with an average annual fee of $32 per unit, we project annual revenue to be $130 million by 2023. So a lot's happened in the past year and a half. In May of 2019, Marco and I graduated from graduate school and closed our first round of funding. In October of 2019, we graduated from Techstars with 5,000 rental units on our platform. And then in February, we launched the second version of our web and mobile apps and had 20,000 rental units across property managers using RentCheck. And this past September, we have over 100,000 rental units across property managers using RentCheck, and we have had over 5,000 completed inspections done by tenants. So how did we get there? It's the team behind the vision. We have an amazing team from diverse backgrounds with great startups, schools, and major corporations. I was an early employee at a Bay Area startup that was acquired. My co-founder, Marco Nelson, knows how to lead and execute. He's a Naval Academy graduate who spent 7 years leading soldiers. Then we have Lucy, our head of product, who joined us from a high-growth prop tech startup. And Will, our head of engineering, who brings deep technical experience building scalable systems from Vanguard. Where are we today? We see a big opportunity and we're positioned to accelerate. If you're an investor or in the property management space and like what we're doing, let's have a conversation. Renting a home is one of the most intimate consumer experiences. It's where you spend the most time and have life's most important milestones. Although we started with my story, I went at it alone, but now you don't have to.
Next up, Swivel from Denver. This team is in a hugely important space that's growing very quickly. And as a result of their unique offering, they are growing very quickly as well. Tell us more about it, Mason.
We've come a long way from the early days of computing, when computers were enormous machines hidden in back rooms. These machines could only be operated by an elite priesthood who knew the secret languages that computers could understand. It wasn't until the first killer app came along that democratized computing. That killer app? Excel spreadsheets. Excel empowered people to complete complex tasks on a computer without code. And so began the no-code movement. Fast forward to today, and we have a new priesthood. Data scientists typically work in silos within companies and are tasked with mountains of work. But behind the curtain, data scientists spend 80% of their time on non-revenue generating tasks such as labeling data. We are on the cusp of another Excel spreadsheet moment. My name is Mason. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Swivel. We are no code for machine learning. Today, every company deploying AI starts by building the same tools from the ground up over and over again. I personally have built these tools 3 times in my entrepreneurial career and have worked with Fortune 1000 companies who have also had this problem. We provide the picks and shovels that help companies build world-class AI algorithms. Every project needs 3 things to be successful: high-quality training data, simple deployment into a production environment, and a closed feedback loop that ensures the system continually gets smarter. There are companies who do some of these things separately, but Swivel has simplified all these tools into a single platform. No other company controls the entire AI data pipeline, but the real breakthrough is making it as easy as a single button press. And in doing so, shortening the time to implementing AI from an average of 6 months to 6 seconds. We started with a focus on natural language, but over the past year, we've expanded from language modeling to audio and now images, allowing us to expand our impact across a single organization as well as meet the growing needs of the market. We charge a platform fee for accessing our tools and a volume fee for the amount of annotation work we complete for each customer. In the past 2 months, we've grown the number of annotations we outsource more than 10-fold, helping our customers increase conversions and gross margins and reduce cost while improving their customers' experience. Just over the last 6 months, we've doubled annual recurring revenue to over $200,000 and have a working sales pipeline valued at $1.2 million. Our customers include Verizon, JB Hunt, and Extra Space Storage. But today, we have something even more exciting to announce. We've entered into engagements with both Cox Communications and Cox Automotive. Our solution is sitting in the middle of 2 rapidly growing markets, and 2020 just pushed the fast forward button on both of them. A third-party data labeling market and a low-code market projected to grow north of $20 billion by 2024. Swivel's leadership team has been working together since early 2016, and we've exited together. We sold an educational AI platform, so the entire team not only has a deep understanding of the problem space, but we know what it takes to get a company from inception to exit. Today, we're creating another Excel spreadsheet moment, democratizing AI for every maker within every organization. Swivel is the single platform that ensures the highest quality training data for your AI project. Over the past 6 months, we've grown the number of annotations 10-fold and doubled our annual recurring revenue. If you're an investor, a company leader looking to speed up your AI workflow, or someone interested in joining a rockstar team, I invite a conversation.
That was great, Mason. Next, we'll hear from Ryan with This App Saves Lives, an app that literally saves lives by encouraging people to not use their phone while driving. I use this app every time I'm in the car, and it's so fun to see how many points I receive by not driving distracted. Ryan, why don't you tell us all about it?
Several years ago, I was severely injured and nearly killed when a driver ran a red light while texting. Sadly, I learned that distracted driving causes 2 million accidents every single year. In fact, using your phone while driving has been proven to be more dangerous than driving drunk. If I asked you to take out your phone and compose a new text, more than 5 seconds would have passed even before you began writing. At 60 miles an hour, you would have just driven the length of a football field, blind. My name is Ryan Frankel, and I'm the founder of This App Saves Lives. I'm a 2-time Techstars CEO, having previously founded a company hatched at Wharton, incubated in Techstars Boulder, featured on Shark Tank, and which was later acquired. This app saves lives, or Tassel for short, is a mobile app-based solution that rewards drivers for not driving distracted. With Tassel, drivers earn rewards points for driving undistracted, which are redeemable for amazing rewards from our merchant partners. Our carrot, not the stick approach is grounded in behavioral psychology, which finds that rewards, not punishments, drive the greatest change. I spend an hour of every day talking with our users, one of whom is Sarah. Before Tassel, Sarah found it difficult to resist the urge to check her phone while driving, even with her 3 kids in the back seat. Sarah is now a power user of Tassel. She checks her dashboard after each ride to see how she's improving over time. She also loves earning rewards, and she finds the enjoyment that is a free meal, retail perks, or gift cards to be far more rewarding than the instant gratification she gets from checking her phone. Tassel gamifies and incentivizes safe driving behavior to replace a dangerous habit with a far more rewarding and addictive one. And the companies that provide these rewards form the backbone of our business model, enabling us to keep Tassel free for consumers. By sponsoring rewards, our merchant partners acquire new customers more effectively and engage them through an important, socially conscious lens that appeals to today's consumers. Make no mistake, Tassel is a for-profit business, and we charge these merchants for this dual benefit, effectively positioning ourselves as a complement to their existing ad spend. These companies spend a whopping $130 billion every year on digital advertising, and today's consumers demand that the companies they support stand for something bigger than themselves. Moreover, because we engage our users multiple times a day and know so much about their buying preferences and behavior, merchants are giddy about the ROI of marketing themselves on our platform. And we're already off to the races. Since going live just 8 months ago, we've acquired 10,000 new users and onboarded 80 brand partners. We've been featured in prominent publications. Our members have logged more than 7 million miles driven with Tassel. We've kicked off distribution partnerships, and we've proven that Tassel fundamentally improves safe driving behavior. I've personally felt the pain point of distracted driving, and I've been in these shoes before, growing a business from the ground up. Since joining Techstars, we've tripled our user base, strengthened our product, and cultivated powerful partnerships. And that's all on a shoestring budget. Now, imagine what we can do with your support. If you're an investor and our business and mission to save lives resonates with you, let's have a conversation. Together, we'll build a powerful business and be a force for change along the way. Thank you.
To wrap up this year's demo day is Poppy. This Washington, D.C.-based startup is growing like crazy in an effort to change how brides buy wedding flowers. Cameron, let's see how you're doing it.
This is me on my wedding day. Do you know who was having the best day of her life? Sarah. Why was Sarah so happy? Because she's a floral freelancer who got to do her favorite thing, wedding flowers. The moment you put the word wedding in front of the word flowers to a traditional wedding florist, suddenly the price doubles. But don't blame them. They have no choice but to go after high-dollar weddings. In their seasonal business, money-making weekends are all crammed into a handful of months, and they're getting fleeced by their local wholesaler. They pass their bloated cost on to the customer, demanding $5,000 minimum spends for a basic package. To top it off, there's no way to buy full-service wedding flowers online. In fact, there are no large players at all in this enormous market, which is why $6 billion of wedding flower sales are still happening with local small businesses and part-timers. So customers waste a ton of time talking to vendors, and in the process, paying too much for too little. Hi, I'm Cameron Hardesty, CEO and founder of Poppy. Poppy is an online florist, reinventing the way people buy flowers. And I was born to do this. I mean, that was before I could even talk. 25 years later, I learned floral design under the chief floral designer of the White House. Then I traveled the world, finding the best flower farms on earth as the head of merchandising at a flower gifting company whose valuation is now approaching $100 million. And my own wedding flowers were published in Martha Stewart Weddings. A typical wedding florist aspires to 20 weddings a year. Poppy is going after the 2.1 million weddings a year in the US. We can instantly scale to new markets with our network of hundreds of independent floral designers like Sarah. Those designers are used to struggling. When we tell them they can make money doing the thing they love, they'd rather work with us than go it alone. Here's how it works. First, we build trust with our customers, starting with a fun style quiz. Then, our tech combines with our expert stylists to create personalized client proposals in seconds. We source our flowers directly from farms, saving 50% over wholesale and ensuring quality. Then our network of independent floral designers receive those flowers and handle last mile logistics. Poppy started with weddings, but when the pandemic delayed our first wedding season, we saw the opportunity to bring joy to people stuck at home. Within 2 weeks, we launched DIY flower arranging kits. 1 month and 20,000 stems in, we heard our customers loud and clear. They don't just want wedding flowers from us. They want us to be their florist for life. Our market is now much bigger than weddings. Today, we make money from weddings, DIY flower kits, and monthly flower subscriptions. Even though the wedding sales process isn't great, when the designer hands the bride her bouquet, they do form an emotional bond. And then it's over, and she never buys from them again. As soon as a Poppy bride gets back from her honeymoon, she's buying flowers from us. And with a lifetime value of $2,500, our customer is an order of magnitude more valuable than any other online florist. Since April, we have sold more than 100,000 stems and done 100 weddings through word of mouth during COVID. We've been profiled in Fortune magazine and on the Today Show. We've been able to sign up hundreds of Poppy designers across the country. And in the last 6 months, we've done $250,000 in revenue. Americans buy $13 billion of flowers every year. Wedding flowers make up almost half of that. And there are no big players taking on this enormous market. It's happening completely offline. I've spent the last 10 years getting the kind of experience no one else on earth has. But Poppy would just be an idea without this battle-tested dream team. The floral industry is ready for a reinvention. I mean, our industry leader still brags about having a toll-free phone number. And there's no better team to take it on. To sum it up, we've done $250,000 of revenue in the last 6 months. Our customers have a $2,500 lifetime value, and we're in a space with no national competitors. In these dark times, we're spreading joy across the country. If you'd like to join us, email me at founders@poppyflowers.com.
That wraps up the company pitches. Before we conclude, I'd like to take a moment to thank some of the people that are the cornerstone of this program. First, I'd like to thank our incredible mentors. Our 100 local mentors volunteered to spend time with the founders and to open their networks to them. Next, I'd like to thank the coaches who worked with our founders throughout the program this year. Bill and Mickey helped us experiment with coaching this year. Thanks so much, guys. And thanks to Venture Atlanta for being such a great partner again this year. There's so much happening this week in Atlanta, and the flagship event is Venture Atlanta, the largest venture conference in the Southeast. I know that I already talked about how important Cox is to Techstars Atlanta, but I wanted to call out 3 people who stood with our founders throughout the program. Kim, Natalie, and Alex. Thank you so much for your time and dedication to this program this year. Now over to Hannah to thank a few more folks.
Thank you, Dave. It's been so fun working with you this year, even in a virtual environment. You have a special connection with the founders, and I always enjoy listening to the feedback you give them. Can't wait to do it all over again next year. I'd also like to thank our amazing associates and entrepreneur in residence, Tapan, Jesse, Whit, Jackson, Rebecca, and Meredith. Without you, we couldn't have made all this happen. Next, I'd like to thank our 4 interns who dedicated their time throughout the program. Cameron, Hayden, Sarah, and Harry. Thank you so much for your help this year. I'd also like to thank our global partners. Your support and generosity means so much to us. And finally, thank you to our family and friends and to all of you for tuning in. Supporting founders is super important, and we appreciate the support you've all shown to our team and the Techstars Atlanta founders. Now, Dave will take a moment to close the show.
One last special thanks of the program is thanks to Hannah Turner. Running a program in a virtual way like this is very difficult, and Hannah didn't miss a beat. Great job, everyone. I'm so proud of these teams. If you'd like to connect with any of these founders, you can follow them on Paper Street to get their update emails, or email me and I'll be happy to connect you. That's our show for tonight. This is the Techstars Atlanta class of 2020. Thanks to Cox Enterprises for all of your support, and thank you for joining us.